and Jane Fisher, we're the Band 7 clinical leads for perinatal and infant mental health across the 0 to 19 service, but we also head up the parent and infant relationship team. And what I'm going to do is just do a brief introduction and then let Jane and Mark get in for the other bits around engaging dads. So, if you aren't already aware, parent-infant relationship teams work with families where there's some level of difficulty or challenge in the relationship that they're forming with their babies or forming as a unit. Wakefield's parent-infant team work with families at any point from pregnancy to around the child's second birthday. And we'll offer specialist support and a range of different levels of interventions to promote and support the parent-infant relationship where there are some identified difficulties. So these lunchtime learning sessions are an opportunity for us to give you any pair team updates, but also give you bite-sized best practice guidance as well around some common parent-infant issues. If at any point you want any questions answering, please stick them in the chat, or there will be some time at the end for questions as well. So just a bit of clarity about where we are in terms of the pair team. In Wakefield, we're one of 75 local authorities that were identified as being high on the deprivation level of index, and therefore we successfully applied for the Start for Life grant way back when in 2022, Jane, if I'm about right. Yeah, Jane's nodding along. And this was a programme, so the Start for Life programme was launched to meet the ask around perinatal and infant mental health. There's 3 branches of Start to Life and there's lots of information online about it, but what we felt in Wakefield, what we really needed was a parent and infant relationship offer for those families that have got mild to moderate mental health needs, but also families that don't have any mental health needs as well, but there is actually a difficulty in that parent-infant relationship. So with Wakefield, with an average birth rate of around 4,800 every year, it's estimated that over about half of these babies will have some level of poor attachment with their main caregiver. And in Wakefield, part of the 0 to 19 service, we've got this new parent-infant relationship team, and we do work with families at any point from pregnancy to 2 years old. What we also do is we work with dads, and there's a lot of services out there that will support that parent-infant relationship for the maternal side of things, but not necessarily for the paternal side of things in our perinatal team. So what do we do? So we work in partnership with Family Hubs, Wakefield Families Together, Homestart, and part and parcel of that is wonderful Mark, who is our Dad's Matter coordinator, and he's here today to talk around the service that he offers through Homestart, through Homestart. We've also got Turning Point Talking Therapies and other community agencies that ensure babies get the best start in life. So we work with parents and babies together as a unit to support their relationship. We give parents an opportunity to talk through their worries about their baby. Might be the first time that they've ever felt confident to open up and talk about some things that they're really worried about. It gives us a really good opportunity as well to dispel some of those parenting myths that are still kicking around there. We encourage parents to think about how their past experiences might be affecting the relationship with their babies as they grow together. And we support parents in understanding their babies at different stages in their development. So a lot of normalising, a lot of what to expect at what time, so parents aren't necessarily we bring their expectations in a little bit and make sure that what they're expecting from their babies is actually what they're capable of at that point. We'll always include the baby within the work and think about baby's experience. We really champion that voice of the child. We support parents to understand baby's communication needs, and that is communication across all forms, around sensory, around non-verbal, around behaviours, around cues, around baby states. And we work in partnership with other professionals who may already be supporting the parents. So if there's other professionals working, we want to get everybody involved to try and benefit the families. So how do you make a referral? So we have got a referral form, and basically what you need to do is just complete and email in the referral form. Our email address is there. That's manned and it's managed and it's looked at every single day. What we also offer is between the hours of Monday to Friday, 9 while 10 a.m. and 3 while 4 p.m. We also offer case consultation or advice. Myself and Jane will man the phone. The way to access that would be via our 0 to 19 single point of contact, and that's 0300 373 0944. And if you just ask who's on call for the care team today, the admin team will quickly pull it up and give you either myself or Jane's mobile number. Easy as that. That can be if you've got queries or worries about a family. It might be if you just want some information about how to make the referral. Anything. If you've got any concerns or questions to ask around pair, please get in touch with us. We triage the referrals as they come in, and we go about and gather further information as needed. We have a weekly Teams referrals meeting, and what we do with that is we discuss the referrals as they come in, and that means that we can action them in a really timely manner. At every stage, we update the referrer on what the outcome is and what our next steps are going to be. And we also invite other professionals to come into those meetings if they're key workers in that parent-infant kind of dyad and triad, so that we get everybody around the table and really thinking about parent-infant and that voice of the child. And once the interventions are all complete, or if things change, i.e. we need to step it up or step it down, then the pair team will update the referrer. And that's our referral process in a nutshell. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jane. Unfortunately, we've not got Ed here today, who is the dad's worker around Turning Point Talking Therapies. But Jane has sent us some really great slides, and Jane's just going to fill in any gaps.
Yeah, so thank you. So obviously Ed Moody is one of the managers that works within Turning Point Talking Therapies, and Talking Therapies is our IAP service where anybody can be referred into the IAP service, but they do have a perinatal mental health pathway, which means that any parent that has mild to moderate mental health difficulties and have a baby under 2, they will be triaged really quickly and be seen as a priority. So that's either mums, dads, or other parents. And Ed, along with somebody called Katie Egan, will triage them. And we have a monthly meeting as part of that. They're part of the extended pair team to discuss those families, to make sure that they're getting the necessary input as quickly as possible. Next slide, please. So, as we know, many dads, just like mums, feel unprepared for the impact of parenthood on their lives. They're less likely actually to ask for support sometimes, or know where to go for support. So it's important that we talk to dads about the support that is out there, which is why it's good to see you here today, so that we can sort of fly the flag for what is out there for dads. They may experience changes with sleep, and the extra responsibilities and the greater financial challenges can really affect the father's mental health. We also know that if the mum gets mental health problems within the postnatal period or antenatally, that living with the mum that's got mental health problems can actually affect the dads, because they're trying to juggle everything. They're trying to go to work and then obviously support the mum. And they may struggle to that transition to fatherhood for lots of reasons. We know that the impact of how they've been parented themselves for both parents come to the fore when they become a parent, and if they haven't got positive role models, that may make it extra difficult. And we also know that often dads, because they're working, may have not had the opportunity to have the hands-on fathering for themselves when they were children, but may struggle to do that because we know that often mums try to keep that baby to themselves, or they'll step in when dads start to do something because they've been with they with that child more, and so learn how to sort of deal with that child, if you like, in a different way, and often can alienate dads, not on purpose. Some dads feel a pressure they cannot offer what the mother offers, leading to feelings of being a failure. And these feelings are often buried by dads, taking the view their feelings are not as important as the partners. And often what can happen with dads is that within the process of pregnancy and birth, etc., and within that, they're often ignored or feel ignored by other professionals because the emphasis is often on the mother and the baby, and so they don't know who to talk to, and they feel a bit like, you know, they're not important, but we know they are, and we need to change that for dads. Like I say, they can feel invisible. Research shows that men are not provided with the educative and social supports to assume their fathering role. So we need to get better. We need to get better at engaging fathers and supporting them, and that's what we're doing in Wakefield. Next slide. So talking therapists can play an essential role in support of new expectant fathers and partners. And we, within our service, within Parent Infant Relationship Service, a lot of our dads, we do refer in, as does Mark, into talking therapies if they need that. And we work as a collection of professional support, giving that support around those families. They offer in talking therapies a wide range of treatment options for dads over a number of platforms, such as groups, online CBT, or one-to-one therapy. And all their one-to-one treatments can be adapted to meet the needs of new dads and partners in the perinatal period. So the things that they offer probably routinely for perinatal for mums, they can adapt for dads as well. And like I say, they will be prioritised if they've got a child under 2. So some of the therapies they offer is low intensive therapy, CBT, eye movement desensitization and programming, EMDR, which is quite an advanced therapy, person-centered experiential counselling, interpersonal therapy, and dynamic interpersonal therapy. So there's lots of therapies, both at lots of different levels, level 1, 2, and 3, which they can use to support fathers. They will offer some group, as in Ed has developed a group specifically for fathers to deliver in a group session. They have really struggled to get fathers onto that, and so part of it is just to let you know that, you know, if there is any fathers that would rather access some group therapy just to let us know, and that's something that they can look at again, redoing that group. And if you've got any questions you want to discuss with Ed, exactly what they're doing, talking therapies for either parent, but specifically for dads, that's their number. They do accept referrals either from the father himself, self-referrals, or if you've got a dad, you can actually speak to your health visitor and we can refer in, the health visitors can refer in as well.
So thanks, Jane. If there are any questions around Turning Point, by all means contact Ed, but if there's anything that we can clear up, then please contact us as well. Over to Mark. So I want to introduce Mark Bucock. I'm not going to kind of tell you all about Mark because he's going to do that in his slides, but Mark works with Homestart and he is part of our Dads Matters offer as well. So over to Mark.
Right, no pressure. First time I've done one of these, but here we go. Right, guys, my name, as been told, my name's Mark Bucock. Sally, yeah, my brain went shut down. I work at Homestart Wakefield, and there I do 2 dad projects. One called Dad Matters, which is supporting dads throughout the perinatal period, so from conception through to babies being 2. And the other project is Dads Do It Differently, and that's supporting dads who have got children 3 up to 12. I mentioned this and I put this in because you might go out and see mums who have got older children and dad might be struggling with the older children. So it's always, if you've got as much knowledge, it's better, isn't it? You know, so we can cover all aspects for fathers and bringing up the children. So my first couple of slides are a little bit about, I've just worked here over a year. If you can go to the next slide. Yeah. So I'm currently supporting 18 dads, 10 for Dad Matters and 8 for Dads Do It Differently. And this is just a little bit of a backdrop to what I've done since I've been here, since last September, the 11th, I think, when I started. So a lot of training. Homestart are brilliant at supporting you, giving you the ammunition so you can, I call it dad ammunition, so you can give them all this information, and you know, they're in a better position hopefully by the time we've finished our support to be able to support their families. So yeah, that's just basically, if you go on to the next slide, a bit faster. So the next slide is basically the Dad Matters offer. Now, this was set up in Greater Manchester. It's a fantastic project. The majority, they've been running about 7 years in Manchester now, and they're quite nuanced. They've got like they've got like a loss coordinator, they've got an inclusion coordinator. So like there's just me for Dad Matters Wakefield, they'll have 3 or 4 different coordinators doing different things. So it's absolutely fantastic. But they're branching out, as they say, the satellites all over the country now. I think we've got 3 in London. There's 2 just started in Bradford. I know Kirklees are looking at bringing a Dad Matters project. So, and there's 1 in Leeds and 1 in Halifax. So it's an absolutely fantastic project. And Dad Matters' 3 main core values are attachment and bonding, mental health, and access into different services. If you go on to the next slide. So this is a little bit more detail about what we do. We don't just do the attachment and bonding. That's the core values, but in and amongst that, we support dads one-to-one. We signpost, like Jane was saying earlier on, to Turning Point, but other professional services as well. We offer one-to-one support. We do walk and talk groups on Saturday mornings. We've just had the go-ahead to host some butties and a brew mornings on a Saturday through the winter. So from October all the way through to April. Cost weather's a little bit bad, and that's at Sunbeams. So dads can come along, bring the kids, there's stuff for them to do. They can have a butty and a brew and talk to other dads and get some peer-to-peer support. We will still offer the walk and talks. I generally do a lot of walk and talks with one-to-one with dads, which they find really good because they're out of the house, they can speak a little bit freer. And then we do stuff like NBOs, newborn behavioural observations, for dads and mums. You know, we'll include mum if available. So yeah, that's just a little bit more. We go to outreach in hospitals, and that's basically across most maternity settings at Pinderfields. We go in and we just offer support to dads. We have a Dear Dad letter, a Dear Dad leaflet. This is the bigger version of it. And it's got loads of information, loads of support about attachment and bonding, baby crying. There's loads of resources on the back that dads can tap into, free apps for the phones. And it's just all little, the thing that I've noticed, I started in April at the Pinderfields, and I don't think there hasn't been a dad that I haven't spoken to that just look at me with absolute surprise, as if to say, all right, am I involved as well? And some, like I say, I spoke to some dads and they've got several kids, and some have had 7 and 8 kids. So that, you know, I've offered them jobs, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's a really good way to get into dads and just know from the off that there's support there for them. Like I said, some don't need it, some don't want it, but there's a good majority that do. And just knowing, I think, just knowing there's somebody there, there's information that can gather. I also give them a Getting to Know Your Baby leaflet. And that's got some great hints and tips for before, during and after pregnancy. So yeah, we find it works really well with the dads that want to engage. If you go on to the next slide. So these are some of the ways that we engage dads. Like I say, it's not for every dad. So we offer dads convenient times for them. So in the work break times, after hours, after, you know, I've gone to dads and I've spoken to dads at 6, 7 o'clock at night, because it's the only time with working and stuff like that, working shifts, that they can get to speak. And I think if we limit ourselves to 9 to 5, we're going to miss out a big chunk of dads. We try not to put any pressure on them. We do it at their pace. We make contact on their terms, so whether that's text, email, telephone, going to see them in person. I've had quite a few dads recently who don't like talking over the phone, So we go out and speak to them personally. So you've just got to be really flexible with dads, because it's been a long time trying to get them to the party. You know, we don't want to spoil it all of a sudden, but yeah. And then we inform them confidentiality. Anything that they say to us, unless there's a safeguarding issue, will be between us. So yeah. And we also try and get the partners to encourage them as well, which we have had quite a few referrals coming through their partners. Right, if you go to the next slide, I've just stuck some stats in. This is just from the Pinderfields outreach. The antenatal appointments, which is where the operations manager, Kieran, that's what he wants us to be. That's the key local, the antenatal appointments. That's what we as you can see, that's a reflection in the numbers. Elsewhere, it's been a bit of a struggle, but you know, we're restricted by certain. What I have found out, because I shadowed in my training guys in Manchester and all the Leeds, how each hospital runs, as with security, as where you can go, what you can do, what you can say. So we're all there's certain conditions on us around certain areas, obviously, and transitional care units. There's a little bit more going off them. So whenever I go, I have to ask permission. Where can I go? Can't I go? Which is fine. So yeah, if you can go to the next slide. So these are just some quotes and comments that dads have made that have been in our support, that have support from us. I'll let you read them because I get a bit embarrassed reading my own things. Yeah, but no, it's be honest with you, that this is, you know, the really good part of the job when you've done your bits and your bobs, and dads have really appreciated what you've done, and they're in a better place to move forward as a dad when we've finished our support. And that's not just my support, you know, it's from Turning Point and Pair Team and what have you, and you know, everybody was having involvement. It's not just me on my own. Right, if you go to the next slide. Is that it? Oh yes. So and a bit more about the dads do it differently. So basically, like I say, it's between 3 and 12, and it's emotional support, mental health awareness. I do a lot of behaviour and boundaries. We get a lot of dads who might be stepdads, or they've just, you know, for whatever reason, with work and what have you, they've lost a bit of a bond with the children. So we work with them all the way up to the children being 12. If you can go to it, I think it's the last slide, is it? Oh, the last slide.
I think that's the last one.
Anybody got any? All fine.
I was just going to ask, sorry,
Oh.
I don't know if you can hear me. Did you just say that? Have we got any questions? Because I've got a question.
Yeah.
We get dads who've been separated from the family, from the mums and their babies and children due to safety plans, and then they complete all of the work with social care, and then they can some go back to the home, but that can impact on the father, their confidence, their mental health, and also that relationship with the baby and fitting back into that family. Is that something that would they be able to access yourselves?
Definitely, yeah,
Because
definitely.
obviously there'd be access and support for had anger issues and those kind of things. That would be a separate service. But I'm thinking of it's not always emotional help, is it? It's not always through
No.
therapies. It's
Yeah.
that kind of building.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I've just I forgot to mention about the referrals. You can refer through Pair Team, by phone, by email. We have a Dad Matters, which is on the slides, Dad Matters Wakefield website, and there's an online referral form on there, so they can refer in that way. That comes straight through to our admin. So yeah, several different ways they can refer in, but they have that one not at all.
Yeah, Mark sits on our referrals meeting every week. Well, Mark's manager sits on our referral meeting every week. So yeah, we discussed, and Mark's worked, he is very humble, but Mark's worked with a lot of our dads that have come into care and done some fantastic work at keeping them engaged. He's quite tenacious, is Mark, aren't you, Mark? When it comes to knowing what dads need, and and really helps to give them confidence, because generally it's this lack of confidence that dads have because they've been left out of the process, really, within maternity services, particularly, I think, going through that whole pregnancy thing, and they do feel a little bit like, what am I supposed to do? So Mark's really good at building up the confidence and getting them involved with their children, as well.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Margaret.
Yeah, I don't have a question, Mark. I just wanted to add, sorry, I got kicked out, my laptop rebooted and it wouldn't let me delay it any further. I just wanted to say it's a great example of partnership working. It's really great working practice that the partners work together, that you have attendance from your service at the pair referral meeting, and that together we can all identify how best to support individual fathers, mothers and families. So yeah, it was just to add how great I think the service is, and it's a shame not all areas have that opportunity.
And also today, one of the therapies that we actually do within the parent-infant relations team is we do something called Circle of Security Parenting, which is built around 5 decades of attachment, which really puts the needs of the child at the centre, that parents attend. And Mark's starting to support us with that in the one that we're delivering in Pomfret at the moment, because hopefully we'll get some dads through the door. And I know that sort of Ed Moody is also keen to be able to in the future offer co-facilitation, so that they can pick the mental health up pretty quickly, with the hope that we'll just do a dad's group as well, so that we'll be able to offer a mum's group, a couples group and a dad's group. So because depending, so there'll be a wider offer, which I think will, going forward, will be absolutely amazing for these dads. There is another service that unfortunately Daz couldn't come today, but Daz Doula works with Future Self and also Smash Society, which works with young dads from 16 to 24, I believe, is it, Mark? Who are at high risk of suicide. And he's got a number of volunteers that works with him, again, that are very much linked with the dad stuff and that we're looking at in Wakefield, and again, and supporting dads. So there are more services out there, and you know, we are coordinating those services so that we all are doing the same thing to improve, you know, access for dads. Because we know from research the important role they have in children's lives, and the important role they have in that child's long-term development, both emotionally and physically.
Any more questions? Anything? No? Vicky?
I just wanted to double check. Did you say that you do engage with dads out of working hours? Because that's one of the challenges when they're working. And it said you do have a group on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, Mark's been really good at tailoring his service around the difficulties that dads face. So hopefully removing any barriers that we've got to getting that support there for them.
That's great. Thanks.
Right, well, thank you everybody for joining today. A little bit quicker than what we hoped, but never mind. At least you've got some time just to take your foot off the gas a little bit. Thanks a lot. This recording will be accessible after today on the website, but on the Wakefield Safe Children's Board website. And yeah, we'll get that uploaded as soon as possible. Thank you everybody for joining. Take care.
Thank you.
Sally,
Yes.
will the slides that we've used today, will those be sent out?
Absolutely, yeah, that's absolutely fine. I can send those out as well, because everybody's names and will be in the chat anyway, so we'll get them sent out, won't we, Jane?
Lovely, that's great.
No, yeah, and feel free to share them out as well, Joanna, to everybody else in the service. Yeah.
Fab, thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
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 Just need to stop the recording now. I just